Gina, honey, you had that phone. Sit it at the other direction. So 7 antediluvian sages of ancient history. So I've been here on the laptop. I have you all. If you're just tuning in, let me do this like that. You can see right here. I've been looking up things, and I will put, I started off looking up the winged images, okay, like the Thunderbird and stuff like that. Hello there, Applebrooks. Y'all had my camera pointed in the wrong direction is what I had. That's all right. It's, I'm only human. I am, right? I'm only human. Let me write down these things that I went to in this sticky note so that we can have a reference. Thank you all for joining. I'm probably going to get hot being up here. I am. Hello, everyone. So I started off looking at Thunderbirds, actually winged people of North America, and I really didn't find much that I liked. Of course, I found the Thunderbirds is a legendary creature in certain North American indigenous peoples' history and culture, and it is considered a supernatural being of power. Indeed, it is. So then I had looked up the list of avian humanoids. And you may say, Gina, what do you mean? I'm talking about winged human-headed beings, you all. That's what I'm talking about. I looked up the list of that. I'm already getting hot, so I'm going to have to take this, I'm going to take this part off right here, you all, because I want to make sure that I can function properly. So this is really interesting about these 7. Here's the number 7 again, antediluvian beings. Hello there, Michelle. So let's flip this around. Let me come right here. I was also trying to look for the different names of the Anunnaki. And you know, I think we should look at the different names of the Anunnaki really fast. Since I've got you all on here, I'm putting down the links of everything I have open that I'm going to touch on. So look, this group of deities probably included 7 gods who decree. An, Enlil, Inki, Ninghersag, Nana Utu, and Ina. So look, 7 Sumerian gods and their powers. I was going to do it like on that. But we can look into this, you all. What are the 7 Sumerian gods and their powers? The most important gods and goddesses in the Sumerian pantheon include An, the god of heaven, Enlil, the storm and wind god, Inki, the water god, Ninhursag, the goddess of fertility and earth, Utu, the god of justice and of the sun, and his father, Nana, god of the moon. So you can see a little description like that. And I thought, well, I don't know if I really want to do that right there. So then I went over to the Sumerian gods. I clicked the little link, and we can look at it right here. You all click this link right here. Let me see if I can click into that and then copy this link right here to put it in the little notepad. Because there's so much history out there. It is laden with information. The internet is, and it's really interesting. It is. Let me click on an area that will not. Look at these different images. There's all kinds of tablets and stuff like that, you all. We have images of the top ranking gods in the Sumerian culture. You can see like this, a bow and an arrow. How did they know how to do that back then, you all? Now, truly, if these gods exist, and I'm sure they did, they're etched in stone, you know it must have been a lot longer than 6,000 years ago, right? 6,000 years ago. Did they start off as cavemen? I don't think they started off as cavemen. I really don't, you all. I don't. So we've got that image. We got list of Mesopotamian deities. Oopsie, Gina, did you click into something? I don't want to click into nothing. You can see right here that there's people done 7 deities of the Sumerian. We even have like, look, Sumerian pantheon, the cradle of probably civilization. look at these right here. So top Sumerian gods, that's a woman, looks like. And they did have things, look at this, it looked like they have an insect tail. Kind of does look like an insectoid with that back end of that, you all. Look at that. And we have this right here. We have these, some of these are women. Who were the main Sumerian gods? I've never seen this before. A leg on a pine cone. What were the 7 gods? So then I want to, oopsie, come on over to here, you all. Let's look at this. How did I get that on there, you all? Oh, I'm supposed to be right here. Well, we know about this. It kind of looked like the Anunnaki stuff, but you like it got a bird beak and wings, you all. See those wings? That's about how big the wings were. That flew by my property, flew over my head, something like this. And they did kind of have that shape right here, but their wings were black that flew over my head out of the column of clouds, came out of the chasm of the sky. Their wings were black, solid black, with, what was it, orangish red, deep orange red, all on the feathers right there is what they were. Very deep orange red. I'm trying to like, I can't do that like that. I can't navigate that. I made my screen way too big. I'm trying to talk about that. So their wings were about that big with reddish orange tips on their feathers. Their head was dark, their body was dark, except right here, they had a reddish orange cummerbund right there with like electric bolt looking jaggeds. And then down here for their feet, where their legs were right here, it was reddish orange. And they came out of a chasm in the sky. I thought they were hang gliders, but they weren't. First came one, and then came around 6 others, one after the other, and they were massive. And they flew right over my head, and they got to the end of the property, and they disappeared. Where my property ended, they disappeared into the whatever, the other dimension. But I'm talking about this 7 antediluvian sages created by this god Enki. Now I'm trying to think, who did they say Enki was? Are you all in here, angels? You're using information which has been out for 15 plus years ago. Do you have a problem with that? Do you? Because I don't have a problem with that. It's new to me. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have a problem with that, if you do, that's your problem. It's not my problem. That's exactly right, you all. So we got these 7 antediluvian sages that have been here. They created. So I wanted to click into that. I really did. So let's look at this, you all. We like looking at this. We got the team werewolf here. Yes, we do, Michelle, honey. We got it. And this seems to be a really good site right here. This, yeah, right here. So ancient pages. I think we've looked at this before. And I do apologize using my laptop because I'm out of town, but I'll be back in town tomorrow is what I will be. So the 7 antediluvian sages created by God Enki. And were they the watchers? Oh, I just now noticed that, you all. Were they the watchers? If you're just tuning in, you all, welcome. Thank you for being interested in what I'm sharing. That's right, you all. So let's read about this. So in ancient Mesopotamian myth and legends, there are stories about very curious looking beings known as the Apkallu. Never heard of that before. These fish-man hybrids, occasionally depicted with bird heads, are a symbol of ancient wisdom. The 7 Apkallu were antediluvian demigods and sages created by God Enki. Whoever God Enki was, I didn't hear the name Enki. The first time I heard the name Enki and Enlil was back in 2018 when I first started on this journey. Someone kept messaging me, and I thought, I don't even know who he's talking about. He kept going on and on and on and on about Enki and Enlil. Okay, he did. He fed my ear, gave me an earful. I had to block him. He was man, it's just message after message. But that's when I first heard about him. So I'm okay with hearing about it, you all. It's all right. It really is. Good evening. So, a bird-headed Apkallu on a relief at a palace of Ashurnasirpal II. You all, I can't say these names. They're foreign to my tongue. They are in a collection of the National Museum in Warsaw. It's accredited as a public domain, right? Is an artistic depiction of a watcher. A watcher. Oh, didn't somebody say something about a watcher in here? Um, yeah. So that's really interesting. Corey, honey, listen. Corey, we're reading about we're reading from ancientpages.com, and they're describing different things that they have discovered. There's lots of written about it. And it's okay to see what other people write about. It really is. It's part of history. It is. But you may not like it. So that's fine. You don't have to like it. You really don't. It may be shocking to you like it was to me back in 2018. I'd have none of it. I do not want to hear none of it in 2018. I'm okay. I can listen. They emerged from the water. Abzu, the ocean of wisdom, known as the primeval sea below, the void of space of the underworld, which was Ker, and the earth, Ma, above. Enki, who was a brilliant scientist, genetist, and engineer, was a Sumerian water god of Eridu, located in the southern wetlands of what is now today Iraq. Known under other names such as the Akkadian Babylonian, god Enki was considered the creator of mankind. I never knew that. I've heard of the name the Akkadian, but that was on the Scorpion King. You know, he was the last of the Akkadians. Remember that? A last of his kind because some kind of warring race destroyed everybody. All of his kingdom, and he was like the last one standing. I really did like that. I did. The Scorpio King. That's what it was, you all. So let's read about this. A god Enki was considered the creator of mankind. This is according to Babylonian history or whatever. In the era epic, Marduk specifically asked for 7 sages by saying, asks, where are the 7 sages of Apsu, the pure Peridou fish, who, just as their lord A, have been endowed with sublime wisdom. I've not heard this before. Apakulu are often referred to as the 7 sages, and their duty was to assist god Enki and introduce art and learning to humans. The Sumerian king list found in the temple library of Nippur, the ancient city of Mesopotamia, offers information on how the first gods gave human beings the gift necessary for cultivating society. So I'm wondering, what was the in the book of Enoch, were there 7 that were cast out? Was it 7 or was there 9 that were cast out? I'm trying to remember how many it was in the book of Enoch. Yeah. So let's look at this. So Enki, depicted on an Atta seal, 2300 BC before Christ, and the image credit is the British Museum. So this is 2300 BC right here. Yeah, 2300 BC. According to the Sumerian king list, there were 5 important cities that predate the flood. Oh, did you hear that? 5 important cities that predate the flood. That's interesting. I did not know that. 5 important cities that predate the flood. And these early cities were ruled by 8 legendary kings, each of whom reigned for 1 and more centuries. The first 7 of these antediluvian rulers were served by semi-divine counselors called the Apkallu, who introduced learning and arts to Sumer. Okay, I've heard of Sumer. I have. Ancient, yeah, I have. So in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Apkallu are said to have laid the foundation for, according to Babylonian legend, Adapa was the one of the wise Apkallu from the pre-flood city of Eridu. The 7 Apkallu were known as Uana, who finished the plans for heaven and earth. Unaduga, who was endowed with comprehensive intelligence. Inmaduga, who was allotted good fate. Imlagalama, who was born in a house. These are really strange names. I've never heard of them before. Born in a house. And in Lida, the conjurer of the city of Eridu. And Utazabazu, who ascended to heaven. These kind of remind me of those characters or those beings, the men or angels, whatever they were, in the book of Enoch. And they didn't have these names, but they had different names in it. But I'm trying to think how many of them were there that had those names. Uana is believed to have been Adapa, Amar, Anas, at the University of Tartu. Estonia has put forward an intriguing theory suggesting that the 7 Apkallu could have been the original Watchers. So the Watchers. Okay, now we got it. The Watchers is what we've got. As previously discussed on ancient pages, little is known about the Watchers or the fallen angels, who were the sons of God. The subject of the Watchers is controversial, and scholars think the Watchers deliberately created the hybrid giants. Okay, now we got this. There we go. The hybrid giants to destroy God's creation as punishment for being cast out of heaven. Those Watchers. Aha, now we got it. Okay, now it's making sense, because when you hear these different names, you're thinking, well, who might they have been? Yeah, the ones that had mated with the daughters of men, and they had giants. The Eternals. Okay, I've heard of the Eternals. 9 families held earth. Just say the name of Jesus and they freak out. Rose, honey, what on earth are you talking about? So let's see this, you all. The gypsum wall relief depicts an eagle-headed and winged man. This is a protective spirit of Apaku. So a bird-like man with wings is what it is. Yeah, you watched the Internals. The Watchers weren't supposed to interfere, and they did. Shauna Tucker, yeah, they sure did. They got the pine cone in the hand. The Apkalus themselves were sometimes viewed negatively as malicious creatures within the Mesopotamian tradition itself. Among other associations, the Apocalypse, I want to say apocalypse, had strong ties between the Mesopotamian, we got demonology here, you all. And they were occasionally counted as demonic and evil beings, capable of witchcraft. This point of comparison shows the wickedness of the antediluvian teachers of humankind was not only an inversion of the Mesopotamian traditions by Jewish scholars, but was partly taken from already existing trends in Mesopotamian demonology. However, it is also very likely that the Apkallu were deliberately discredited and assigned evil attributes by later authors. As many kinds of Mesopotamian scientists, whoa, I didn't know what that was. What on earth happened there? I saw these comments went boom, and that was the end of that. So listen to this. So it said, they could have been discredited and signed attributes by later authors. As many as Mesopotamian scientists and technologies were ideologically conceived as originating with the Antediluvian Apkallu. So both Enoch and the Watchers were depicted as antediluvian teaching powers. In so doing, the Jewish authors wanted to depict their national hero as superior to the champions of foreign wisdom. One could easily dismiss the half-human, half-fish Apkallu as pure mythical beings, but the fact that they were known under different names in other parts of the world make them very intriguing and highly significant to those studying mythology and ancient history. So, as mentioned earlier on the ancient pages, the 7 sages can be encountered in ancient Egypt, in Babylon, in Sumer, in China, in ancient Greece, and India. Why is that so, you all? Why do you think that you have these 7 sages that are known all over the world, more or less, all over the world during that time, and they go by different names? Why is that so, you all? Why is that so? Why would that be? Which is pretty interesting. It really is. Why would they be known as that? There is a lot of symbolism. There is a ton of it. They were Gilgamesh. Let's see this right here, you all. Let me copy this right here. I'm going to put down these links that I went to, and I'm going to log on to this YouTube and put this in the reference system, in the reference section when we get done. Let's see, sacred numbers. Look at this, you all. Here's some more stuff. This is about the women. The women in history. You know, they don't like the women. Some people didn't like the women. What on earth? She who wrote Enheduanna and the Women of Mesopotamia, 3400 to 2000 BC, October the 15th through 2022. So through February 19th of 2023. What is this? This is a museum. This is going to go to a museum. The first author in history was a woman, Enheduanna. She received this name, which means the high priestess, ornament of heaven in Sumerian, upon her appointment to the temple with the moon god in a city in southern Mesopotamia in present-day Iraq. Iraq had a lot of history, you all. As the daughter of the Akkadian king Sargon, look at that date, 2334 to 2279 BC, Enheduanna not only exercised considerable religious, political, and economic influence, but also left the indelible mark on world literature by composing extraordinary works in Sumerian. Her poetry reflected her deep devotion to the goddess of, you know what, love and warfare. Inanna in Sumerian, Ishtar in Akkadian, you all. So I'm not going to read very much of that right there, but I will copy that link, you all. We ain't going to talk about that word anymore. We're not. We get these men wound up, you all. We get these people wound up in here. We can't be talking about that. Yeah, we're not. We're not going to talk about that. That's right. She is also Venus and Aphrodite. Let's look at some of these pictures right here. And I'm sorry I have to use my laptop. Hopefully I'll be back at my desk tomorrow. You also look at this. Women emerge. There was something really interesting about one of these things right here. You can see the cylinder seal. with female figures and cows. Later Uruk period, green serpentine. Um, one of these things are in Chicago, you are, which is, I thought, that is really strange. You have this right here is in the British Museum right there. This is from the Elias Solomon David Museum. Look at all of these things right here. I saw one of these pictures, rocks, whatever you want to call them, you all, in Chicago Museum. You may ask, why are they in Chicago? Look at these. And Earth does have a history. It does. They would have us to think that they don't. Berlin. This is a museum in Berlin. This is the, I can't really read it, you all. Let me see what this says down here. This is the figure of a Uruk vase in a precinct right here. If you like archaeology, you may not like it, but I like it. It's really interesting to look at. Look at this woman. And I think there's another like woman. They knocked off some women's head that was engraved in statues. They knocked their heads off or knocked their noses off or some other part because they didn't want people knowing anything about the women. They didn't. Look at this right here. What was this right here? Let me see this. So this is tablets inscribed with the exaltation of Inanna in 3 parts. A hymn to Inanna, whoever Inanna was, you all. Look at this. They got the poems. I'm not going to read the poems, but I want to just show you some of this stuff right here. The women that was in ancient times. They existed, and they did play a role. All women are not bad, you all, despite history as trying to say that women were kind of bad. I don't think that they were all bad. They've been given a bad rap, is what I think about the women. They gave them a bad rap. And the men were the ones who were dominant, and women were beneath them. And I don't think that's right. I really don't think it's right to do that to women. But in some cultures, they feel that the women are to be seen and not heard, and that they are beneath the man. Okay, it is. That's how some cultures are, and I'm not going to get into that either, you all. I'm not. Yeah, you feel like the mother is God, maybe God, Father attributes and stuff like that. Maybe, perhaps. There sure is a lot of history out there that's written, that's hidden, and I'm sure in the Vatican there's a lot of books, a lot of text, a lot of everything that we aren't told, and that no one will ever, 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 ever get to see. No matter who you are, you will never get to know what's inside those vaults down there underground and stuff. Why is it, you all? Why must they keep a tight lid on the history? Why keep it secret? Is it because it's a threat to their power structure? Is it? Is it if we knew the things that were hidden inside of there, I think it would probably be game up. That's what I think. Game up. But because it's hidden, if you can hide it and nobody knows anything about it, then you are able to hold on to the power. You are. Hold on to it, and nobody else can take it from you as long as you wield it all. That's not nice. It isn't, you all. So, yeah, reincarnation. Yeah, there is a theory of reincarnation. There's a theory of an afterlife. The reincarnation truly, you can't really say it's a theory because people can remember their past. Little bitty kids remember who they were before coming into this earth, into this body. And scientists have documented afterlives, people given a description of who they were, little bitty kids, and they went down to the area where these children were, and they found everything that they said was true. So there is a such thing as a life before this life. It is. That's right, you all. Let me come back to this right here. And I got on the winged beings, and it was the original, the Sumerian gods and stuff like this. They called them the Watchers, and it had something to do with the book of Enoch also. This did. So I am going to go, you all. I just want to get on here very briefly. And it's kind of hard for me to do videos using my laptop. I'm out of my element. But that's okay, you all. I'll make the best of it. I really will. I got a big bow. And they shoot their arrows. That's right. It's interesting looking at the past. It really is, you all. So thank you all for tuning in. And again, I apologize for using my cell phone on my laptop and kind of unorganized because I don't have nothing really right here. I'm going to have to hold this phone. That's right, the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki. There's much more to the Anunnaki than what meets the eye. There's much more to the Virgin Mary than what meets the eye. There is. There's much more to the Bible than what meets the eye, too. There is. And all these other things. So thank you again for watching this video. And hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And thank you, Apple Brooks. Thank you all for being on here. If there's any other moderator, thank you. Thank you all for your comments, too. Love you.